Welcome to Integration Nation for Allison Sullivan and Associates Integrative Mental Health Team. I'm Dee Daniels. We are here today to invite you on a journey.
Not any journey, but a journey all about limited thinking.
So the topic today, I'm just intrigued, especially because limited thinking is something I think we all do sometimes.
It's a buzzword phrase kind of thing. So we want to look at it from the perspective of how do you know when you're engaged in it? Because you got to know when you're doing it to be able to do anything about it. And then we have a cool 3-step method to move through it. And who doesn't like a cool 3-step method? And this is what I call the permission slip method.
I'm so excited to hear what the permission slip method is all about. And you're right, like a 3-step method, it really makes things seem easy and doable.
Yes, and sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes we just need a little tool to just kind of open us up towards something new for us to get out of the rut that we're in and get a little unstuck. Sometimes it's just about getting a little unstuck.
Absolutely, to start the train moving.
Yes.
Again, even if it might be slow sometimes.
Slow and steady wins the race, I hear.
Exactly. I hear the same thing. That's coming up and you want to hang around for that. But we cannot give enough praise to the new website. And if you haven't seen it, wow.
Yes, and of course, we wouldn't have the new website if it weren't for the fantastic Haley Mills, who really outdid herself on this website. Still the same address, allisonsintegrativehealth.org. Really fresh, really clean, super easy to navigate. On the top right-hand corner are all of the little buttons that we love, of all the ways you can connect with us on social media and get in touch with us. On the left-hand side are 3 little bars that help you navigate through all the pages. And you're really going to want to navigate through the pages because our Integration Nation page, it's incredible. So you can listen to every single episode on the page.
Yeah, and really, I mean, you'll want to go there, check it out. I'm sure you've maybe missed an episode or two. So you'll want to go back and listen, and it's all there, and you kind of get to see, how each episode might touch you in a different way. And I think that's the thing. And then from there, you can share that with someone else, send them the link. I mean,
yes.
How special when I've got a friend who would really love to hear this.
Yes.
And let me send it to him.
Yes, and if you've already subscribed, we thank you, and we love that because that's how we spread the message about integrative mental health, which is the whole purpose of this. But going to the website is a great way to introduce people to the podcast because they can sample it really on one page. They can see every single episode and navigate really easily through that. And once they're familiar with it, they can then subscribe based on whatever device they're listening to podcasts on, whether that's iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, you name it, we're on it.
It's really user-friendly. Check out the website, allisonsintegrativehealth.org, and be sure to share the link to the podcast. I'm sure that your friends, your family will appreciate hearing this fantastic podcast. Now, we are so excited to invite a new sponsor to the podcast.
Yes, we are. We are now sponsored in part by Dragonfly Yoga. Those of you who already listen to the podcast know how much I love Dragonfly Yoga. Let me share with you a few of the really specific reasons why. First of all, when you walk into Dragonfly Yoga, you can tell immediately you're in a serious yoga studio, but not a serious yoga studio that is intimidating. It's a serious yoga studio that's welcoming. Immediately you feel like you're part of a community. The wide variety of classes they have literally meet you wherever you are in your yoga practice, from someone who has never practiced yoga before to an advanced practitioner and everything in between. I was literally in a class last week where the owner of the studio was orienting new students to the studio about every aspect of how to engage in the classes there, where to put things, how to get set up, where to sign in, every single bit of it. So from the moment you walk in, you're welcomed as part of the community and you're met where you are. So you learn about yoga safely, skillfully, and wholeheartedly. wholeheartedly. Better yet, they're in the heart of downtown, right in the middle of Caroline Street. But you're really going to want to go see them on their website to figure out how to sign up, to see the wide variety of classes, to see all the workshops they have. And you can find them at dragonflyyogafred.com. That's where you want to go to sign up for your classes. When you go there and you sign up, you can look at the new student specials they have and let them know you found out about it from listening to Integration Nation.
Yeah, definitely let them know. You know what I love about Dragonfly? So many things, but I love the fact that you're right. It's so welcoming. You don't feel intimidated, and they're going to let you know how quickly you can belong. It feels very good because they have all the people who are instructing yoga, they have a passion for it. And I love that too.
A very deep passion, very skillful passion, and yet very welcoming and inclusive. And I think that's a rare combination because in other yoga studios, I've found one or the other. Dragonfly blends them both. They refer to most of the students by name, if not all of them. I hear them consistently talking to people by their first name. And I just think if you're looking to introduce yourself to a yoga practice, that's the place to go.
Dragonflyyogafred.com is the website, and let them know you heard about it on Integration Nation. We would appreciate that, and we appreciate them being a fantastic sponsor and part here for the podcast. Now, to limited thinking.
On to limited thinking. That seems like a terrible thing to talk about after the unlimited potential at Dragonfly
Doesn't
Yoga.
it? Doesn't it, though? It seems like we're
Yes.
like, and down.
Yes.
But, I mean, this is something that we all can struggle with at times.
We all can struggle with it. And limited thinking, in a nutshell, I think the way that it's useful for us to think about it today is that's showing up when we're telling ourselves, I can't, that's not for me. Oh, other people can do that. I shouldn't. No, I'm not gonna even risk that. No, I'm not gonna look into that because I don't know how to do this. Those kinds of phrases usually indicate you're engaged in some limited thinking.
So this comes to a core belief we might have about ourselves.
Yes, and cognitive behavioral therapy. People have heard CBT. For decades now, is a really effective way to start to deal with limited thinking, because limited thinking, really underneath the thinking, it's centered on core beliefs of not enough, core beliefs of I can't, I'm not allowed, I don't deserve, something's wrong with me. We call them in my business maladaptive beliefs because they don't help us live our fullest potential. They limit us. They hold us back. They are ways that we withhold potential from ourselves and those around us.
Is this a kind of this cognitive behavioral therapy? Because I have heard about it a lot. But is this a kind of thing like you can walk in to therapy with you and say, I think I need that? Or do you incorporate that as you see what someone is experiencing and what they might be needing?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I think that's another way that integrative mental health, as we practice it, is a little different, because that is a part of our toolkit. That is something that we weave into therapy where appropriate. But you've heard the saying, if all you have is a hammer, then all you're going to see are nails.
Right.
It's one of the tools in our toolbox. It's not the only tool that we have. And when, after meeting with somebody and talking with them and hearing why they're there and looking through the intake paperwork, we see that it's something about beliefs, that there's pattern after pattern of limited thinking involved, then we are going to use some cognitive behavioral approaches to kind of get at those beliefs that are underneath the thinking. So cognitive behavioral therapy looks at the beliefs that give way to the thinking, that give way to the behaviors.
Okay, that makes sense now that you've broken it down that way. So you incorporate that into therapy. How, I'm guessing the permission slip method is one of...
Yes, the permission slip method I kind of came up with to help with issues related to limited thinking around I'm not allowed unless an authority tells me. Now, I'm not sure people really think about it that specifically, But I do think, and I do see this with women in particular, it's a particular type of disempowerment where women who come to see me think, I'm not allowed. I have to ask. No one told me I could, so I'm not sure I can. It's kind of this self-perpetuating thing, and especially if there are pioneers in their family. Pioneers are another subspecialty of client that seems to find their way to me, and that's a person who is really changing the trajectory of their family tree. It's the first person in their family who has done something.
Wow, yeah.
There's really no template in the family tree for how to get there, and there's specific characteristics that go along with people like that. So one of the things that the permission slip method works really well for is whenever you find yourself knowing you want to do something, but you feel like you're not allowed, like you are missing some essential ingredient. No one told you could. No one has introduced the idea to you. No one has said, sure, nothing's going to happen. You have the pass to go. And I came up with the name permission slip because I thought about when I was in school, I used to get so excited about field trips.
Oh, gosh, yes.
You did too?
Oh, I loved field trip day.
Yes.
It didn't matter where we were going.
Yes.
If it was
Yes.
to like the gas station at the end of the road. The fact that we were all going and
was an
like it
adventure.
was a trip.
It was an adventure.
Yeah.
And you didn't really know what was going to happen when you went. But I wanted to go on most of the field trips. And so the day that you would have to bring your permission slip home was a really important day. And I made sure I got my permission slip taken care of pronto. My permission slip did not wait in my backpack. It didn't wait it was right there in front of a parent that night. Got this permission slip. Can you sign it? Can you sign it? Did you sign it?
And you did follow up on it because if they didn't sign it and you knew you needed to get
Yes.
it done, like you
Yes.
followed up later or the
Yes.
next morning or
Yes.
whatever.
But once I got that signature and I knew I could go, then I could just lean into the excitement of
Yes.
the unknown, what was going to happen. So I started thinking about that when I kept seeing this pattern of clients come through the door of just wanting permission. And it's not really helpful if a therapist repeatedly gives a client permission to do that, because then it's just perpetuating this disempowerment. And that's not going to help. That's not going to help people. So here's the permission slip method. It's super simple.
I love this.
Okay. Step one. What do you want to do? That's step one. If there's something that you just can't get out of your mind, maybe it's something simple like, I want to try a new hobby. Clients will usually introduce this in session by saying, I know this sounds stupid, but...
Right.
It's kind of like a little, I'm going to go ahead and judge myself as I put it out there so you won't judge me.
Yeah. You're already
Limiting.
Yeah, we do that.
Yes. Okay. So that's just the first step. Do I want to do this? Do I want to try this hobby? Do I want to take this trip? Do I want to talk to this person that I see all the time and I'm interested to get to know, but I don't think I'm allowed to just go up and talk to somebody?
Wow, yes.
Okay, that's the first step. That's all you need to know. Once you want to do something, you've already done the first step of the method.
Right.
Okay. The second step is where the really good stuff happens. It's kind of a two-pronged step. The first part of it is, does it conflict with my beliefs and my values? You got to figure that out. You got to figure out, am I not letting myself do this because it conflicts with my beliefs and my values? So once you explore that, then the other prong of that is, does it align with my beliefs and values? Because once you find out that something you want to do aligns with your beliefs and your values, guess what?
You need to be doing it.
You're on to step 3 in the permission slip method, and that is sign your darn permission slip
Yes.
and do it.
Right.
Give yourself the authority to go do it. All we really need to know to take the risks, to make the changes, to step towards something new is, do I legitimately want to do that? And I glossed over that. But sometimes we do need to spend a little bit of time thinking about, is this a voice in my head? Is this something that somebody's been telling me I need to do, but I don't really want to do? Or is this something that I really want to do that I can't shake?
Right.
And then the second piece of that of, okay, yes, I want to do it. And yes, this aligns with my values. Usually at that point, that's when the limited thinking will step in. And people will say, yeah, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but how? So I'll take a really simple example from a hobby I started 3 years ago. So I started stand-up paddleboarding.
Right.
3 years ago.
I always love the pictures of you stand-up paddleboarding. You look so in the zone.
I'm so happy.
I love it.
I struggled with it for a little bit. I struggled with it because first, the way the limited thinking showed up was, at that time, I was in my late 40s. I'm in my late 40s. What am I doing?
Right.
Then it showed up like this. You've already got other things to do.
You don't have time for this.
Why do you... No, it was more along the lines of, why do you need another hobby?
Ooh,
That's the limiting.
I gotcha.
Need.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need. You've got a hobby, so you have to make do with the hobby that you have, kind of thing. And then it showed up as how would I even go about learning how to do that?
Could be too difficult or...
Could be too difficult, could be too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's always, mom guilt can get thrown in there.
Yes.
Why am I going to spend more money on a hobby for me? That kind of thing.
Oh, the mom guilt.
Yeah, all the limited thinking
Yeah.
can come up that way. Okay, so with the permission slip method, all I would need to do is to say, I want to learn how to paddleboard. I want to experience that. Step 1, done. Okay, so step 2, does it conflict with my values? I don't know why it would conflict with my values because it doesn't harm anyone. I'm not exploiting anyone to do it. I'm not engaged in any behavior that is going to put my family at risk. I'm not taking away from them in some fundamental way. So it, doesn't conflict with my values or my beliefs. So how does it honor my values and beliefs? Well, that's when the really good stuff started to come clear with paddleboarding, because it does honor my values and beliefs in a lot of ways. It's on the water, and the water is a really soulful, healing place for me.
Sure.
It's quiet, it's in nature, it's restorative, it's physical activity, all that kind of stuff. And those things are in the neighborhood of tons of my values.
Right.
So then all I needed to do was just say, okay, I'm going to figure it out. I'm signing my permission slip.
There you go.
I'm going to figure it out. And what the magic of this is when you get to the third step and you say, okay, I'm signing this permission slip. I'm giving myself the authority to do it. It's amazing how many times people will share with me, a way will open up. Something will open up. And for me, it opened up with a class that just happened to show up on a news feed and social media.
Isn't that just interesting when stuff like that happens? Because it's true. It's like you open yourself up to it. You've given yourself permission. Mm-hmm. And then whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it comes through. Like it shows up in your...
conflict is gone.
Yeah.
When you're in conflict with something, whether it's through limited thinking or something else, you're going to get mixed results because there's not a clear signal. I think of that like with a radio. When we would go on road trips when I was a kid, nothing was more frustrating. Well, there was a few things more frustrating, but one of the frustrating things about the car ride was when you would go through the dead zones.
Oh, yes.
And the radio
would go out. Yeah.
Or the station would start going out and you could kind of hear but kind of not.
And it was like a song you really liked that was on at the time.
That always happened. That always happened.
Yes.
So when we're conflicted, it's kind of like that. A radio station with a song that's playing that we kind of want to hear is just out of range or we're losing it a little bit. And so when we go through these three steps, we get really clear.
That's amazing. That really does. That's a simple way. It sounds simple. I know the step 2, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, but it's the good stuff. You're right.
It's the good stuff. And if what I just did was you take each aspect of your limited thinking that comes up and you just hold it up to, does this align with my values or not? Mm-hmm. Does this thing that I want to do? And so the limited thinking doesn't have a space there. Because it just becomes about, okay, if I'm not trampling my values, If I'm not going against my beliefs, then there really is no reason for me not to try this.
And I would think too, with the limited thinking and then this process of the permission slip, somewhere in there, in that step 2, where you're talking about your core values and beliefs and you're asking yourself those questions, if something pops up, which it may, because I could see in certain scenarios it would pop up for me, might question some of your values and beliefs from there. You might start to look at some things that could be an interesting place that would highlight something about your values and beliefs.
Well, that's another great aspect of this exercise, because sometimes we have outdated beliefs and values, or sometimes we have kind of adopted beliefs and values that may not really reflect who we are and where we are. And so when you take the time to really explore this, you get clear on, wait a minute, do my values and beliefs actually even fit me anymore?
Mm-hmm. What a beautiful place for that to take place when you're wanting to do something. And I mean, it's almost like you're in action or wanting to be in action. And so like giving yourself this moment of like evaluation, that can be a little tough, but what you learn from that.
And then it's a great way to really sidestep the limited thinking, because once you kind of get in the ring with limited thinking and start wrestling around with it, you're not going to win that. You're just going to stay stuck and spiral more and more. So this is a way to move beyond it, to not even engage with it.
The permission slip method.
Yeah, the permission slip method.
I love that. And I hope we can somehow request Haley to make us a permission slip.
Oh, yes.
A printable.
Yes, a printable.
Permission slip on the website that we can go to.
Yes, that will be there.
Wow. Are you ready for some Q&A?
I'm ready for some Q&A.
Okay, so we had a question that came from the episode about burnt waffles and bad attitudes. Do you remember that episode?
Burnt waffles and bad attitudes. That keeps reigniting interest.
Yes. First, it's a fantastic name. But
and who doesn't love waffles?
Well, not many people. But I know that you are a waffle hero. The question that came was from someone named Allison, beautiful name. And the question was about...
it was 2L Allison.
Oh, it was, you're right. You were one.
I'm one.
And it was regarding because the episode in a nutshell is about...
non-attachment.
Right. And Allison wanted to know how to love the people in your life and go through bad moments and bad days and not get too attached to that, to be able to separate yourself out of that and not get lost in it.
Wow. Well, isn't that the $1 million question?
Yeah.
I actually think it relates to what's underneath the effectiveness of the permission slip method. And it's related to non-attachment, in that when we mistakenly believe that other people hold the key to our security, our stability, our permission, our authority to do things, then that keeps us really attached to what they're saying and doing.
Because we think we need it.
Because
to survive.
And we're reading it all the time to navigate what we're allowed to do and what's going to happen. And sometimes the roots of that occur in childhood, but by the time we're adults, we really can begin to practice non-attachment to remind ourselves that our security comes from within us. And that's the magic, if you will, of the permission slip method, because what it does when people engage in that 3-step process is at the end of it, they remember, I am the authority in my life. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that I'm not influenced by people I respect. That doesn't mean I don't have mentors. That just means I'm in charge of my happiness and my security. Nobody else. And I don't have to wait for other people to give me permission to have that. I invite that in by the choices that I'm making and how those choices align with my values and beliefs.
Allison, what a great question. And Allison, what a great answer.
Allison Power.
I'm saying that's a really good episode, by the way. And so if you haven't listened to it, check it out. And you can go to the website and see it right there. It's episode 202. It's called Burnt Waffles and Bad Attitudes. A really, really good episode. And yes, we have a nice, fun fanfare about waffles, but it really does tie into that whole process.
Yes.
You know, and even to a smaller degree of not letting things ruin your day.
Right. And not expecting, because expectations are also related to attaching to things. And when we expect things to go a certain way, we've set ourselves up for disappointment.
No doubt about it.
Fun fact, guess which episode of Integration Nation has the most downloads? You're on the website now looking through.
You quiz me.
You can't stop looking at the covers. Aren't they so good?
The website is phenomenal. It's like a new puppy in our house.
I know.
We're excited.
We're very
We
excited.
can't put him down. Allison'sIntegrativeHealth.org. Please do check out the new website because you're going to fall in love with it too. You've quizzed me on this before.
I know, because it keeps changing.
I know. And I want to say
We have a new top dog.
I want to say it's the family can't live with them, can't live without them episode because so many people, struggle in that
That's
department.
in the top 5
Okay.
for sure.
All right. I'm going to say then my second choice is going to be, I'm going to say, self-care?
Top 5 again. Do you give up?
I do.
Low down on letdown.
Oh, love that episode. Yes.
The low down on letdown is top dog right now.
Wow, that makes sense. Because literally, we don't like to let people down. We don't like to be let down.
Right, and I think the emotion, umbrella emotion worksheet and discussion has really been important. And if people missed that, you can go onto our Pinterest page that you can find on the website and download the emotion umbrellas, because that's a really important part of developing emotional literacy, which is so vital to permission slips, to limited thinking, to non-attachment, to all of it.
I'm telling you, after you did this umbrella and this umbrella thinking and emotional literacy, I too have learned from it. There have been moments where I have been caught in this thought process or tunnel of like, oh, okay, this is what I'm feeling. But then I sit with it for a minute and I'm like, no, what am I really feeling?
Right. I may not be anxious and frustrated. I may
Yes.
actually be scared and disappointed and
It's
confused.
been so eye-opening. And I'm sure, obviously, it is for so many other people since it is our winning episode right now.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, check it out at Allison'sIntegrativeHealth.org. Big thanks to Dragonfly.
Big thanks to Dragonfly. Check them out. You will thank yourself for it.
And not only will they meet you where you are, but Allison will meet you where you are today too. And so schedule your appointment with her. Check out the website, Allison'sIntegrativeHealth.org. I just want to find a place of peace. I want to figure out how to get grounded. I want better sleep and less stress. But I don't really know how to meditate. I don't have time to learn. How do I even begin to know what kind of meditation is right for me, for my life? Finally, you can find peace of mind through meditation that meets you right where you are right now. Skip the frustration of not knowing how or where to start with a powerful 5-week class called Meditation for Beginners. Allison Sullivan and Associates Integrative Mental Health Team in downtown Fredericksburg will show you 5 types of meditation. You'll benefit from easy instruction and meditation practice that will help you relieve stress, and you'll find plenty of time in this class for Q&A and group discussion. The group setting is comforting and welcoming and very empowering. Would you like to truly discover the quiet, the peace, the fullness of the present moment? If your answer is yes, then find your place in Allison's Meditation for Beginners class. Sign up today at Allison'sIntegrativeHealth.org. There's a place for you. Allison'sIntegrativeHealth.org.